Now, here in West Africa, the two main contenders in Ghana's presidential election have been holding rallies in the capital, Accra. The vote on Saturday is likely to be a tight race between the current vice president, Mahamudu Bawumia, and the former president and opposition leader, John Mahama. Ghana's struggling economy has dominated the campaign.
Next 4 years, I'm hoping to see Ghana in a higher place. That there's no need for us even to be traveling. Ghana will be like any other place in the world, a better place for we Ghanaians to live in, to feel comfortable. I know Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is going to do that for us. You see, things they go high.
Things are getting expensive. Even our own Ghanaian food, it's become expensive. We just want change.
The seller is expensive. So just change this what we want.
We will be voting on December 7. We want to change things, and you know that right now things are so expensive. You know what's happening. The situation we're in, we are suffering a lot. That's why we want change.
Well, sounds familiar, doesn't it? Well, for more on the Ghana elections, I'm joined now on the line from Accra by the global security and governance analyst, Paul Ejime. Paul, thank you very much indeed for taking the time to talk to us. I know you're busy moving around and keeping an eye on things there, observing what is going on. Just tell us a bit about what's at stake in this election in Ghana on Saturday. Right, I'm told that we appear to have lost Mr. Ejime. I'm not quite sure what happened there because he was, I'm told that he was there a hot second ago. But Ghana, of course, holding elections this weekend. It's a key election. There are 275 constituencies across the country. Nevertheless, there's a lot of worry about whether or not this election is actually going to be free of any kind of violence, which is a very rare thing to be saying when it comes to Ghanaian elections. Well, let's return to Paul Ejime, the global security and governance analyst, who I'm told has rejoined us. Paul, can you hear me at all?
Yes, I can, Charles, go ahead.
Okay, just tell us a bit about what's at stake in this election in Ghana on Saturday.
Well, a lot is at stake. The only thing not at stake is the fact that the outgoing government is not on the outgoing president, Nana Akufo-Addo is not on the ballot. But his party, the NPP, is presenting his vice president, the deputy, while the opposition is presenting former President John Mahama, like you said. So it is a case of two parties that have always alternated power since 1992, when Ghana, turned into multi-party system. But there have been some we'll say some unusual things. For the first time, that the two candidates are coming from the north of the country, and they're also professing different religion. So ethnicity is not playing, but religion is playing here. Both Mahama and Bawumia are from the north. Bawumia is a Muslim, and John Mahama is a Christian. And remember that Ghana is also coming from parliament. In parliament of 275, the two parties are having equal number of MPs, and that had led to the opposition presenting the speaker. That is what's still on ground. And the parliament has actually gone on recess. And that could affect the passing of budget for the transition. Why? Because the speaker was going to evict 4 MPs who changed their parties. But the Supreme Court weighed in to say no, you cannot do that. So these are the the imponderables, things that can affect apart from the economic and performance of the outgoing president. I think those are the issues. Otherwise, there is corruption, there is education, there is unemployment of youth, and these are all things that will play out in this on
Right.
Saturday.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to gallop ahead because we're fast running out of time. I mean, does it look like it's going to be a peaceful election, or is there a risk of violence, possibly if one side or the other feels as if they've been cheated of victory, or that the vote hasn't been fair? I mean, because there have been many polls predicting victory for either side, haven't there?
Yes, particularly for the opposition party that are now crying foul. They are saying that they are not likely to get, fair play. But it's the usual political thing that when you are in opposition, you tend to cry the loudest. But Ghana has a tradition of peaceful election, although in 2020 there were 8 deaths from violence, and they are saying, well, never again. But whether or not that will happen, because there is fear of some politicians importing or using private security, as thugs to terrorize themselves. And there is something you call the galamsey. That is the private, mining, illegal mining. Everybody is accusing every other person. Nobody wants to take responsibility about that. But that has affected the country's economy. The underwater is polluted and all that. But that is where we are. It's not clear what the pendulum could swing on the other side, and that will also be in consonance with Ghanaian politics. But every 8 years, they tend to change
Right.
the
Okay.
ball to the other
Well, I
side.
mean, you mentioned there, Paul, that there was some disquiet amongst the opposition. I understand that some opposition candidates have raised concerns about the Electoral Commission. What are those concerns?
Yes, because they are talking about not really the balloting, not voting, but a collation of votes. That is where the issue usually comes. But the Electoral Commission has also talked about opening up its activities. For instance, the IPAC, the inter-party, agency that council that oversees, that includes every part, every stakeholder. The deliberations used to be done in closed doors, but they have opened the chair, as the chairperson says, they have opened it up to the media. And then that collation will also be open to the media. That's how transparent she wants everybody to believe that the Electoral Commission can be. But they say that the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So the opposition would rather say, okay, let's go there and believe, but that is not the issue. The issue is not voting, but in counting and then collation. And that is where there's what they call the pink sheet. The pink sheet is where they record the results and pasted at the polling stations and then taken to district and regional before it comes to national. They say that that is where they have the fear, and they want international observers to be very to watch out on those.
Right. So, I mean, how soon after voting can we expect the results to be declared?
Well, the Constitution says nothing. I think there's no. The electoral chairperson says the Constitution does not talk about provisional result. But what they do is that whatever they have, they will put on the portal. And they have, I think, a week to do that. And after that, if there is no winner, then they go into runoff 21 days after. But lo and behold, the constitution is clear that the new president must be sworn in on the 7th of January 2025.
Right, and just very briefly, because we're virtually out of time, I mean, you've observed elections in Nigeria and Ghana. How different are the two?
Well, here, I think they have some institutions that have, many people have confidence in them that they can live up to the shocks of elections, which Nigeria has not been able to do. Whether it is because of its population, the size, or whatever. But I think this thing comes from the attitude and disposition of all the stakeholders. It's not just, you can't just pinpoint one person and say, because election is a multi-stakeholder affair. There is the Electoral Commission, there is the security agency, there are the political parties, the politicians, and even the electorate. Because here, they are still also talking about vote buying or vote selling. So, for instance, this year, we didn't see more of public rallies. All you have, they say, is what they are doing is how to house or retail campaigning. Ghana has brought that into the electoral lexicon. So that is what is playing out. But they have had this, they want everybody to believe that for 32 years they have done it and they can do it again. But like I said, let's wait and see.
Right. Paul, thank you very much indeed. We really appreciate your taking the time to talk to us. Paul Ejime is a global security and governance analyst. He was talking to me on the line there from Accra.